I feel left behind. That was what I said when I was looking for jobs in IT shortly after I graduated from university. You know, when I remember those days, I could not forget how devastated I felt when I applied for numerous jobs in the tech field with a computer science degree, and I was just not getting anything. I felt frustrated. I felt anxious too, because other obligations started coming up, for example, repayment of student loan. And I just felt like nothing I was doing was just working out. I also felt embarrassed, and I felt so discouraged that there are times I just felt like to just take on myself. Translated it to English from a non-Jamaican speakers, literally means take away yourself. In other words, lock yourself away from the world for a while. There are times, when I applied and I got a letter in the mail and I saw that rejection letter, my spirit was just downcast, man. It was just a tough period. And I kept saying, what is it I'm doing wrong? What do I need to change? That was a tough period for me. But there's one thing that kept me going, and it's a thing called perseverance. Despite how I felt, I knew that I couldn't give up. I had to keep pushing. I had to keep finding ways. And if necessary, I had to do things differently. But I can tell you though, during that time, it was hard. It was hard to be happy. It was hard to just be joyful, because it was just tough not getting into the field that you want. So I asked myself several times, what can I do? And I asked myself now that I'm in the field and I'm growing in the field, what could I have done differently to at least be happier? When I look back, I realize that there are some lessons I kind of learned from that period. And let me share with you some of them as I come to memory. You see, one of the first things I had to learn was not to compare myself with others. I had to recognize that each person's journey is different. I don't know where the quote comes from, but I've heard a saying, I don't know if it's from the Bible, I don't know where, but they said that comparison is a thief of joy. And that is so true. You look at everybody else and say, oh, they're progressing, so I'm not good enough. I am not living the life they're living. They're happier than me and so forth. That's a thief of joy. And it just adds more stress to an already stressful situation. That was something I had to learn, because not getting the job that you want is already stressful. So what was the need for me to stress myself additionally by comparing myself with others? You said the next thing I had to learn was that if things not working out, it's time to try something different. Applying for jobs, not getting it. What I had to do was several things. I had to talk to some of my colleagues who already got jobs in the IT field and forward my resumes to them. Trust me, I'm so grateful for them, because they forwarded my job applications not only once but several times to wherever they worked, and also to other people they knew. So I'm very grateful for them that even in that time, they supported me by doing something like that. Secondly, I also had to get real with myself. Is my resume on point? Are my interview skills on point? So I did several mock interviews with relatives, with colleagues, etc. And I did find out that my interview skills were not on par. I can tell you, when when I got some of the feedback, I was like, oh my God, I have some serious work to do. Yeah, had some serious work to do there, but guess what? Sometimes the truth hurts, but it helps. And it didn't hurt that much, but when you look at it and say, okay, I have to do more work on this, then you just have to do it. So yeah, that's one thing you do. One thing I had to do was ask for help. And not even just ask for help in terms of the tangible stuff, whether submitting my resume, getting my resume reviewed, going on mock interviews, etc. I had to also ask for help in terms of support, just venting how I felt during that period. Sometimes when we're going through stuff like that, it can be a little devastating, and it doesn't hurt to talk to a trusted friend, trusted family member, just about how you feel. Sometimes it's good to talk, you can get things off your chest. Sometimes also you get to see things from a different perspective. And even more importantly, sometimes the person listening to you can provide you with solutions that you would not have thought about. And that's what happened to me in that season. So yeah, that's another thing I had to do. I had to reach out for help. Next thing I had to do, I had to also be very brutally honest with myself. Am I competitive enough for those jobs? When I saw what they required and I went on some interviews, it really showed me my areas where I lacked some knowledge. So I really had to go back after those interviews and learn those skills. Yes, it was hard again, because especially when you go in an interview and they ask you a certain question and you cannot answer, you feel so embarrassed that you want the earth to swallow you immediately. Oh my God, I couldn't forget one particular interview I did, and they asked me some questions. I was just blank, like a blank sheet of paper. Oh my God, it was just embarrassing. And coming out of that interview, I just wanted to lock myself away from the world again. But guess what? After that period, I said, okay, that's an area I did not know enough in. So clearly, I have to learn it. So I had to get to work. I had to learn those skills, whether through courses, whether through practice projects, etc. That's what I had to do. So yeah, even in those times when I felt left behind, I had to look at myself in the mirror and realize that sometimes I'm behind because of me, and I have to level up. And sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow, But guess what? You see, when we face, one thing I learned, when you face yourself and you be brutally honest with where you're at, you at least can now plot out where you need to go. So it's not that bad. Once you're just brutally honest with yourself, you'll figure out where you need to go. Another thing I learned when I felt left behind was the power of resilience and perseverance. I never knew I had it in me. The times I felt devastated about not getting the jobs, I realized that there was this inner force in me that was just saying, no, don't quit. No, don't give up. Oh boy, I don't feel like doing this again. I give up. No, you're not giving up. That was a voice that was speaking to me. And then I said, I quit, I can't bother with this. And then the voice said, no, look, if you quit now, you're going to stay where you're at. So pick your poison. So yeah, that voice really did straighten me out. So I had to persevere, I had to push through. And I persevered and pushed through for those years until I finally landed a job in a tech company. That perseverance, it really, really helped me push through those tough times, those times where I just felt like giving up. So yeah, that is a key thing. When you feel left behind, you have to persevere no matter how you feel. No matter how hard it is, no matter how you feel like you just want to give up and just lock yourself away from the world, you know? So yeah, that was my experience when I felt left behind. I know I spoke about it in some other videos, but I just wanted to, give a shortish version of it, because there are times we feel like we're left behind, but we have to remember not to compare ourselves with others. We have to remember to ask for help. We have to level up. And finally, we have to persevere. Because look, one thing I realized in hindsight now is that even though I felt left behind, it wasn't forever. If I could speak to my younger self, I would say to my younger self that this is not forever. There will come a point where you'll make it into the tech field and you'll be growing leaps and bounds. That's what I'd say to my younger self. And this is what I want to say to all of you, my friends. Whenever you feel left behind, remember, it's not gonna last forever. Once you put in the work, once you ask for help, once you don't compare yourself with others, and once you embrace the journey, trust me, there will come a day when this situation that you're in will no longer last. There will come a time where you no longer feel left behind and you'll be growing leaps and bounds. Let me know if this helps. I just thought I'd just speak from the heart today, So let me know if this helps and how you found it.